Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you Rays of Light are doing excellent today. Happy St. Patrick's Day, first and foremost, to each and every one out there of you. I hope that you are enjoying today, relaxing, watching the game, doing things for yourself. I think it's so important, you know, on weekends or at least one day of the week that you dedicate some time to yourself and not really focus on anything else but just pampering yourself and self-love. A lot of us are so busy every day and we don't really do that. So today I'm going to be talking about some new topics. First of all, Sam Smith, someone who I love his music. I love what he stands for and he represents. For those of you that don't know who he is, which is almost impossible, he is a famous British singer and songwriter, and he has put out so many singles that have sold millions of albums all around the world. Well, he recently came out on iWay. It's this group on Instagram. It's called iWay, and it's like an online community that supports people who are overweight or struggling with weight or have felt at one time embarrassed because of their weight but now love themselves unconditionally. And you can actually go on there. It's iWay. It's the @ symbol at iWay, IWEIGH, and it's an online community, and there's just so many people that you can download a template off of their website and then use one of your photographs and where you maybe didn't feel very comfortable at some point in your life, and put that template over it and then send it to them, and they'll feature you on their Instagram post. And I recently just did that myself. So I wanted to talk about some of the things that he spoke about, have like a little powwow with y'all, a little chat. On the interview, it was very eye-opening, because a lot of the things that he's gone through with his body image and how he has felt, some of the things that I've gone through throughout my life. For those of you that know and that have been following me on my channel, I'm not very shy when I talk about my weight and how I've always kind of struggled with it, and I've never been thin, but when I was very little I was very thin, and then just bloomed into who I am now. And I've always had some, I've always been kind of stocky, overweight. Some people would call me obese, but whatever the issue is, I love myself unconditionally now. But it did take me a lot to get to that point. And I think Sam Smith, when he was doing his interview, he explained that he had also gone through the similar issues, where he's never felt very comfortable in front of the camera or in front of people or doing photo shoots, etc. Even being self-conscious in front of the mirror. I think a lot of us have that and can relate to it. One of the things that I didn't know that kind of surprised me was that he had said in that interview that he did with iWay that basically at the age of 12 he had liposuction because he had feet, he had breasts. We all have breasts, and I guess he didn't feel very comfortable. He was teased, and he had a guy at one time that came up to him and grabbed his breast, and he was mortified by that experience. So I really recommend that you would, if you haven't checked out that interview, it is on IGTV on Instagram for iWay, and it's a very good, it's like a 30-minute interview. I would definitely check it out and listen to it. He also went on to talk about how people every day, how he struggles like body dysmorphia a lot, and what that is, for those of you that are tuning in may not understand. It's when you look at yourself in the mirror and you see yourself as being like fat or not, just not happy with your body, even though you're perfect and everybody else sees you as being beautiful. And then it's just your kind of perception of how you see yourself, and it's like you're never satisfied. And when he said that, it was like something, that I've gone through in the past as well. Up until recently, like I would never take full body pictures because I didn't like the way that my body looked. So I would just take, selfies like from the torso up, like from right here up. It was just, one of those things where, finally I've come to realize that I'm body beautiful, and it's about positive, you know, not having any body shame, not being ashamed of who you are and how you look, and body positivity. And that's what I'm pushing and promoting on using my platforms now to help a lot of you guys and gals out there that are struggling, because there's so, I think when it comes to some females are a little bit more open to discuss it and talk about it versus males. A lot of males are not willing to talk about it, or they don't want to become sentimental. And he even talked about toxic masculinity, and this is where a lot of like straight guys and some people, you know, that are straight, and especially men, that don't want to talk about or show any kind of sensitivity because they feel like that makes them feminine or makes them less of a man. And it's kind of goes back to social conditioning, how a lot of men out there have been conditioned by their fathers, by their grandfathers, by their moms to be this tough guy. You know, no man is supposed to shed tears, no man is supposed to shed emotions. They're supposed to, you know, you're supposed to be strong, have a beard, you know, you're supposed to have, you know, muscles and work out, because that is what we're supposed to do. And Sam actually spoke about, you know, how he doesn't like working out. I don't like working out. And then he went on to talk about something that is called, let me get the name off of my phone. It's called genderqueer or non-binary, and it's this new category for gender identities that are not exclusively masculine or feminine, and identifies which are outside the gender binary normativity. Genderqueer people may express a combination of masculinity and femininity, or neither, in their gender expression. So it's like not identifying yourself as male or female, or having a preference for either. It's almost like being neutral, so to speak, because a lot of us are born into this world, and like people that are, you know, like those of us that are gay or lesbian, you know, or LGBTQ, you know, we have no control. It's not a choice that you make. You're born that way. And I feel like also, like what Sam was trying to say, is that some days he feels kind of like embracing his femininity. You know, it's like you can't really identify with one gender, you know. And one of the things that he mentioned that really hit with me is his body shape. He says no matter how masculine he tries to look, you know, and grows his beard out and does muscles or loses the weight, there's certain things and aspects of his body, like his curves, the shape of his thighs, you know, and the way that his body is, that you really can't change that. And I am the same way. When I look at myself in the mirror and I see my body, it's like there's certain things, there's certain aspects, and even in my character, like not that I identify myself as being female at all, or male, but for the longest time I've always been confused. Like those of you, and I want to laugh because those of you that haven't seen me before, you know, when I first started off doing videos, I would be in front of the camera, but then I got off the camera because I didn't like to set up the equipment, and then also the body issues that I had been dealing with, so I wasn't too much comfortable being in front of the camera. But one of the things that was so funny is that people would leave comments on my videos where I'm not on with my face, and they'd say, "She sounds beautiful." And when I used to work in customer service, I actually would get called ma'am by all the customers, and this is something I can't control. I think some people think that I'm, you know, purposely lifting my voice up to be feminine or sound, you know, kind of female-ish or girlish, and those are the things that I think that are so great about this movement, about the non-gender binary, which is like you can't change those things. Like I can't change my voice, you know. I can change it, you know, real deep, but that's not my real voice, and that's putting a lot of strain on my vocal cords. This is my real voice. And also my body, like I said, like he said himself, you know, you just can't change certain things. My eyebrows are really thin. I don't pluck them, I don't shave them, I don't you know, groom them. They are how they are. They're thin. That's natural, you know. But some people would look at that and say it's kind of feminine looking. But this is the things I think a lot of, as America and consciousness is growing, and the reason I decided to talk about it on my channel is because I think it's so important. It's such a powerful movement. Because I've seen Nick Tor, I can't remember his name, and his girlfriend. He is Instagram, and he was also on TV as well. I don't know if y'all know who I'm talking about. Nick Tortolino. He's Italian. I can't remember how you say his last name, so I apologize. I have a bad way of pronouncing names that are kind of difficult, but he is on Instagram, and him and his girlfriend have talked about, you know, the non-gender binary, and I think it's a lot of more people are coming forward with it, and it's just so great to listen to people, you know, kind of express body positivity and not really being ashamed of who they are, because with that, you know, you can dress feminine if you want to. And, you know, this is the thing, you know, a lot of people have, you know, programmed themselves that men cannot wear pink. Now men are wearing pink. A lot of women go and buy men's jerseys or men's shoes, and they wear them, you know, and it's not that they're trying to be masculine or be feminine, but rather it's just like unisex. It's like, that's the way I would describe non-gender binary. It's like being unisex for both, you know, both, and you can embrace at any given time either or, which is something that's very beautiful. So then that was the whole thing. Like I said, if you haven't joined it or haven't seen that movement or that interview by Sam Smith, go ahead and check it out on Instagram. So I'm going to go ahead and do a psychic reading today on Venus Williams. For those of you that haven't really known her, or know who she is a famous tennis player and sports model, because I think she's done some sports modeling, like representation, sponsorships for sports related items and stuff. So she's very beautiful. She has her sister Serena. Venus is close to her 40s, and she's been single, but you know, she's had some people that she's dated here off and on. You know, when I get into her soul, I feel like she was kind of, people will look at the Williams sisters, and they will say, you know, they're great at their tennis, and they are. That's undeniable. But I think a lot of people think that they were kind of, they went in willingly to play tennis, and I feel like it was almost like they were kind of forced in some ways. I mean, you can comment in the comment section below and let me know your opinion, but I feel like they were molded at a very young age to be competitive and to get in the sports of tennis. But like I said, as you get older, not just like in the music industry or even in acting, as you get older, our bodies undergo changes, and yes, there are categories in tennis and sports for older, you know, people or people that are in their 40s, but it's like you are no longer sponsored the same. It's not the same, you know, career wise. So I feel like she's really kind of at this point right now really trying to figure out what is the next thing that she wants to do. She is dating supposedly this guy Nicholas Hammond, which is a millionaire, and he's invested in some swanky properties and finances and financial things, and I believe he resides, he's a New Yorker, but he travels to and from. But he's been spotted with her since 2018, if I'm not mistaken, and people have noticed that she's sporting like a friendship ring on her finger, and they're wanting to know whether she's engaged or she's going to get married. But I do feel like there is marriage for her, and an engagement within the next 2 years or so. It's her destiny, you know. She's seen Serena be happy now. It's her turn to really get to that happy place and just really enjoy life and all the benefits of it, and have her, you know, children, and do those things that she likes to do. I feel like, you know, she's dedicated her life, and she's very much like a pioneer for a lot of young girls and women out there who are sports enthusiasts and really love tennis, you know. I feel like that is exactly what she's going into. You know, she's going into that kind of legendary kind of category, even though she's still young, to, you know, really be considered that. But I'm just pulling up a picture here so I can see her face when I do this reading. I love that I can do this in front of the camera and keep it real with y'all. You know, with her, she's a little different than Serena. I do get that she is outspoken, but also she is a little softer around the edges, and I feel like she is more, you know, focusing on things that she really likes to do here in the future. Like I said, she could go into creating some jewelry line. I don't know if she's done anything in that, but I do see like something to do with jewelry. even like writing a book. I feel like she will even go into that as well. I do see the relationship between her and Serena becoming rocky at some point in their life. I know that they are sisters, they love each other, and that will never change. But I do feel like there are going to be some differences, and I feel like they've always been compared. She's always been compared to Serena, or has, you know, they've tried to make them go up against each other, where they are like kind of competing, you know, who does best, who does this, who does that, but ultimately they love each other. But I do feel like, you know, the relationship as they get older may become a little bit more distant, because they want to kind of separate that identity or that connection that they have, you know, being that they you know, been spotted everywhere before and done matches together, and, you know, they have their own identity at the end of the day. And I feel like this is exactly what Venus is wanting to do. I also feel like she will have a health issue if she's not careful within the next 2 to 3 years. And this will have to do more with her legs. I'm getting something about her legs, that she may tear something and require a surgery if she's not careful. So again, this is something that she would just need to be very careful with and really look out, you know, at. I do see her eventually, you know, becoming, like I said, someone that maybe becomes like a trainer in her later years. In the latter years, is becoming like someone that, you know, kind of helps other young girls to train and really just become really good in their careers and their tennis, you know, and really just become successful athletes, like a mentor. I really see her doing that, and then kind of becoming more of the mom role. And if she does have kids, I do feel and do foresee that they will be in sports, but I don't feel like it will be necessarily tennis. It could be more like basketball or like something like that. So again, those are going to be the things that we would need to watch out and kind of look at for her. Financially, you know, I feel like she is very meticulous about her finances, and so I don't feel like this marriage, or this connection or this relationship with the millionaire boyfriend is something that is being done because she wants to hook up with someone that's rich and for him to kind of take care of her. No, she's really an independent woman, but I do feel like we are going to see tabloids, we're going to see headlines, because she is African American, he is white, obviously. You know, this is an interracial couple, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, tabloids, you know how people are going to spin things out of control to kind of sell papers and sell and make money off of them, and really kind of, you know, make it that story or that headline to sell papers, that, you know, oh, she's after Nick because she wants his money, or she wants to live comfortably because, you know, blah blah blah, which is really sickening. But you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, tabloids are going to run so much crap on you know, on the news. I also had Paris Jackson, someone from my Rays of Light on my channel commented and showed me a link where there was reports that she had been hospitalized because she was suicidal, which is insane. I had actually been watching her Instagram. I'm very much active on Instagram. For those of you that haven't followed me, follow me at Psychic Medium Ray. I'm always posting music videos because I love music so much. And I'm posting other things as well on my Instagram. But I was watching one of her stories just hours before she supposedly was, you know, in suicidal, etc., which is a false rumor. She denied that. But I was watching her Instagram, and I believe she was with her friend, and they were in bed or whatever. But she looked perfectly normal to me, you know. I mean, she was like kind of, you know, kind of groggy, kind of, you know, just like when you wake up in the morning. But she doesn't show any signs. You know, tabloids are doing the same thing that they did to Michael, to her and her family, and just writing all kind of stupid things on the media about her being suicidal, etc. She's a very tough young lady, and like I said, she knows who her father is, and no matter how many, you know, stories are put out on the media, she's going to continue to defend him, and the family's going to continue to defend him, which is very admirable. And I love her spirit and her soul and how strong it is, and reminds me so much of her dad. You know, she looks just like her dad in many ways. So yeah, that's just crazy, crazy, crazy. And then what happened in New Zealand with the terrorists, you know, that shot and killed, what was it, 25 people? My God, that is horrible, horrible. My heart and soul and prayers go out to those people. I think there were Muslims. It just shows you that society, like I've said, the Mercury retrograde, and it's not just the Mercury retrograde, but there's a surge of darkness, and what we're going through in the world is a lot of darkness and a lot of loss, and it's a spiritual battle, spiritual warfare between light and darkness. And so it's just like we have to, you know, stay together, united, pray, and stay, instead of being divided and separated. That's what a lot of these, you know, large organizations and these dark souls want, is for us to be divided and to be bickering, you know, amongst each other. And we just need to be united and really love one another wholeheartedly and without any kind of judgment. So it is just crazy, crazy, crazy. I just pray for them, and I hope that the families that have been affected, and their friends, and the community, and New Zealand as a whole, you know, it's a small, well, I've never been there, but it's like an island. It's horrible that we are still going through that. But like I said, prayers out to the victims, the families, and may their souls be at rest, and just keep praying for the world, because we need more prayer, we need more faith. People need to have faith regardless of what you're going through. If you're alive and you're breathing, that is like the biggest blessing that you can have, because the people that have been taken out there in New Zealand, you know, those guys are the people that did it. They had no heart at all, and just dark, dark people. And those people that have passed, you know, can't come back right now, and they can't, you know, spend time. They're not here any longer physically. They are spiritually. So again, be very thankful for your breath of life, and getting up every morning, waking up, and just being able to share moments with people that you love. And most of all, don't shy away from saying how much you love, you know, someone. Say it, because you don't know, tomorrow's never promised for any one of us here. So I want to thank you so much, my rays of light. I love you so, so much. And I will be doing some more videos this week, so stay tuned. I hope you did like this kind of mashup and discussion time / Venus Williams psychic reading. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing, amazing day or night wherever you are in the world.